The build show's on the road today. I'm in Columbia, Missouri. We're actually on a farm property outside of town. We're visiting a job site being built by my friend Jake Bruton of Aero Builders. Now this is kind of a different house when you drive up, right? There's no windows and doors showing, but wait till you see the inside. This is a really cool project. Today's build show with my friend Jake. Let's get going. All right, so when you first pull up, it looks like a big green box. You can see he's got zip sheathing on the whole outside. Everything's fully taped. And then when I come inside, the first thing I'm noticing, he's got 2x6 construction on 24 centers. You can see he's added some blocking here because he must be running his zip horizontally. I'm also noticing he's got trusses on, it looks like also 24-inch centers. That way they're lined up nicely between the truss and the stud, so you can sight all the way down there. That's really good to see. And these trusses span the entire width. That's kind of nice. No center support beams for this big 2-car garage. Hey, there he is. What's up, Jake?
How's it going, man?
So not only does this house not have any windows, there's also no walls inside.
So this is not going to be a big open box like this when we're done.
It looks like a big prison right now. What is going on?
So in the end, this will be a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house.
Okay.
Kitchen, living room, laundry room, pantry, all the normal fixings in a house like this. But one of the things that we're focusing on with our durability is the air sealing.
So that's why the windows aren't installed yet, is you've got the full outside on and you want to test it first.
Yep. So we have the ability to blower door the house before we've made a bunch of mistakes. So we're testing just envelope now. So we'll test now with just envelope. We have zip sheathing on the wall, zip bar here, and drywall on the ceiling. And then after we install windows, we'll test again.
Okay, so then let me make sure I understand this. Your walls are going to be laid out on these chalk lines here. And it's looking like you've got electrical in based on some of those wall locations as well. And then you've actually hung the drywall on the ceiling and taped it for air tightness too, Is that right?
So it gives us one monolithic barrier. So it's easier than trying to cut around all of the walls and then all of our plates and then seal all those connections. It doubles the amount of connections that we have probably, or maybe even triples. But here, if we do it in one big sheet, there's no penetrations except for the little bit of light, lighting. And
then above us is probably the same trusses, right, on 24-inch centers. Yep. And they're obviously bearing front to back, right? None of these walls are going to be load bearing.
Yep. Wow, so the house is engineered in a way that we don't have to worry about the interior partitions to start out with.
Got it. Wow, that's neat. So we're totally air sealed at the lid. Now, why am I not seeing your bottom plates? You've got a void at each one of these stud bays going down below to get to your framing. What's happening there?
So we're calling it the hybrid house. So in our market is basements, a little bit of crawl space, and a lot of slab on grade.
Okay.
And this is a slab on grade house. It's a turned down slab house. But if you're paying attention, you're not standing on a concrete slab. Right. You're standing on Advantech.
Right, so you've got a wood subfloor, but we're slab underneath us. It feels solid.
So what we've done here, the design gives us a basement that houses our mechanicals, but everywhere that we don't have the basement, we have a slab with 4 inches of Type 9 EPS, and then 2 layers of Advantech. So the EPS gives us an R20, but the 2 layers of Advantech keeps us from having to put in like treated stringers or anything like that. Wow, so we just have the insulation and then an island floating on top of it of Advantech.
All right, so basically slab on grade except for the center section where you do have a basement. All your mechanicals are going to run down there. And then where you and I are, it's slab on grade, then 4 inches of EPS foam. That's the white foam.
Yep,
but
coffee cup.
Coffee cup foam, exactly. This is probably a higher PSI though, I'm guessing, than standard foam.
Yeah, it's a 25 PSI.
25 PSI, Type 9 I think is what that is, which is also ground contact rated, right?
Yep.
So it can be up against the slab and any incidental moisture is not going to be a problem. And then I see a little bit of plastic vapor barrier. Is that some Visqueen on top of that?
Yep. So we have the option of being on top of the slab but below the EPS or on top of the EPS. We found, this is the second time we've done this sort of thing. We found that the EPS wants to slide around on the foam, and it takes longer to install the EPS than the Advantech.
Got it.
So why not walk on it as little as possible, basically, is our goal. You know.
And then how did you lay the Advantech? We've got 2 layers of wood on here.
Yep. So the first layer runs the opposite direction of the layer you can see now.
Okay.
And the seams are offset. So no seams line up. Advantech or Huber worked with us to come up with a spec, so we have a warranty from them for our installation.
Killer.
It's glued and screwed. You know, the screws are 8 inches on center. The glue is every foot in each direction.
And so this is 2 3/4 layers,
Yep.
so 1.5 inches in total. And your screws, I'm assuming, are probably sized to match that as well.
So they don't go all the way through.
Yeah, they're probably, what, 1.25 inch screws or something like that.
Yep.
It feels solid, man. There's no movement, there's no squeaks, nothing here.
I don't think if I walked in this house I could tell a difference if it was, I couldn't tell anybody that the assembly is any different than normal.
That's amazing, man. Now you worked with Steve Basic on this house, right? He was
Yep.
the architect on the project.
Yeah.
And tell me about this kind of center. Why is there foundation just in the center of the building here?
So the plan is laid out with the idea that we're going to have to service this house for 100 years or more.
Okay.
But not us necessarily, but someone will.
Yep.
So this basement run that goes down the middle of the house, every room that has water dumps into that basement. Every room that has sewer dumps straight down into that basement.
Got it.
All of the HVAC comes up in one of these 2 walls and then shoots out from there. Wow. So all of our mechanicals are below us.
That's awesome.
Nothing's in the attic. Our ductwork comes up and straight out. So our duct runs are super short. We have really high quality windows, so we don't have to take that HVAC all the way over and wash the windows. We can get away with dumping it as close to the furnace or the AC as we can.
Yep.
And so it just becomes, the system's cheaper to install. The system operates better because it's not pushing as far in the ductwork. I mean, it really is kind of a no-brainer once we started.
If your grandson wants to come back and remodel this when he takes over your company someday, in 75 years, there's no jacking up concrete, right? They just send the plumber into the basement, unplug something, remodel the kitchen, plug it back in, and you're done.
Yep.
How cool is that? No jackhammer necessary. Now this is not just zip sheathing I'm seeing there, right? Because I'm seeing the back is gray. What are we looking at here?
So it's their 1.5 inch total thickness product. So
Okay.
it's 7/16 zip OSB on the outside, and then 1 inch of their polyiso. So
it.
we have a 2x6 wall here that has R6 on the outside that's continuous. So we get that full R value on the outside because of the zip, but then we also are able to fill with another R21.
And you ran that horizontally, so what you're seeing here is the sheathing joints, so you could nail those up.
Yep.
And then what's our cavity insulation going to look like?
It's going to be blown in fiberglass.
Okay, gotcha.
There'll be a little splash of spray foam at the bottom to connect to our vapor barrier.
Got it. So what I'm seeing here, this double top, this is actually the top of the double top plate
Yep.
right down here, right? So this, below my finger, 3 inches below that is actually the slab. This wall got framed before this was here. They tilted the wall up, framed these walls traditionally, and then after the house was dried in, then you came in to do this foam and subfloor, right?
Correct.
Wow,
Yep.
that's wild. So then when you connect that spray foam right in here, you'll be able to connect that to that EPS that my finger can touch
Yep.
here. Because this layer is 1.5 inches. There's my poly, and then we've got EPS foam here. And then what do you think your total wall cavity insulation is going to be between the zip R and that?
So it'll be somewhere in around 28, R28. But it's not R28 in the cavity, it's R21 plus a continuous 6.
Right.
And that continuous 6 we get the full R value out of.
That's awesome, man. Plus then you've got this airtight lid above here, and how much will you blow in up there?
This house will probably get an R60, maybe R65 up there. The insulation that's going up there, it's cellulose, it's cheap. Why not spend a little bit of money up there and just overkill?
That's amazing.
We got the space.
R20 under our feet, R28 in the walls, R60 on the roof. But as you know, and I talk about this all the time too, it's not just about insulation, it's about airtightness.
Yeah.
Now talk to me about airtightness for a house like this.
So this one is, this is the first house that we've done with a sub framing for us. So our
Okay.
in-house carpenters didn't tackle this project like we normally do.
Okay.
And so we had some learning curve. We had some, out here a couple days with my bags on, working with the framers, talking about everything. Thankfully, our framer was my second employee when I took over the company, and now is one of our subcontractors, so he understands what working with me is like. And so he was on board from the beginning, like, if this is the future, let's do it. And we did a blower door test yesterday, and we were 0.3 ACH 50. So that's
0.3.
1/10 of allowable code in our market, or half of passive
So 3 ACH 50 is allowable in your climate zone,
Yep.
but climate zone 4, and he did 90% better basically. 10% was his leakage. And then you've got a pretty awesome window and door package going in here, which is pretty high performance. And my guess is you're going to do some air tightness details on that, so that when you're all done, you could easily get to passive house levels,
Yeah.
which is really, really airtight. The other thing I like about this, Jake, is I'm not seeing any details here that look like they cost a lot of money.
Nope.
It's just thought on your part and the architect ahead of time, right?
Yep.
Do you mind telling us cost-wise for a house like this, what kind of costs you're talking about for this build?
Yeah, so we're expecting to be under $250 a square foot on this house. And that's not including the architecture fees or the property, but that's a partial basement and insulated flooring with wood floors and custom wood cabinets and
That's incredible,
air
man.
sealing that's as good as it gets.
That's so awesome. Crazy stuff. Now, guys, you may not know Jake already. We've been friends for a long time, and we actually have a brand new venture that we're just starting, that's just launching as you're watching this video. It's called the buildshownetwork.com. I'll put a link below, and there'll be a link in the description. Jake and myself and several other builders who are all very teacher-minded like Jake and I are going to be shooting videos on a regular basis. So Jake's going to be also shooting the build show here from Missouri on his job sites. He's got a ton to teach. He and I have also written for the Journal of Light Construction for many years. Super smart builder, and he's second generation too. So Jake has more content on buildshownetwork.com. I'll put a link to his page in the description below. He's got more content from this house, including more details, and he's got some other projects going on that you don't want to miss. Jake, incredible tour, dude.
Thanks, man.
Excited to partner with you on your version of the Build Show. And guys, if you're not currently a subscriber to my channel, hit that subscribe button below. We've got new content every Tuesday and every Friday. Nothing's going to change in my YouTube channel. It's all going to be the same. But if you want additional content, if you want to see kind of what I call Netflix for builders, go to buildshownetwork.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Otherwise, we'll see you next time on The Build Show.